Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's start our Thursday Upanishad class. And these days we are going through Aitareya Upanishad. So let's do the prayers first. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhuvasvaha, Tatsavitra Varenyam, Bhargo Devasya, Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Na, Prachodayat, Asto Ma Satkamya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya, Mrityurma Amritam Gamya. Om Sena Bhavatu, Saviryam Karvavai, Tejasvi Navaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, let's open our books. We finished one section, so today we are on the second part. So this verse number first of this part starts with and the basic theme over here is how this creation happened. Okay, so this question comes to our mind also. This question has been coming from the beginning in everybody's mind, because when we see everything, we wonder, where did it come from? Who created it? And how he created it? So this is what this guru is trying to explain to the students. So verse number 1 of this part. Ta etaha devataha srishtaha asmin mahati arnave prapatan tam ashnaya pipasabhyam anav varjat ta enam abruvan ayatanam na prajani yasmin pratishtha annam adam iti. So these are the mantras. Mantras can be in 3 lines, 4 lines, 5 lines. They are different than shloka. See, when we look at the shloka of Bhagavad Gita, 2 lines. 2 lines divided into 4 sections. So this is a mantra. Mantra are a little harder to memorize also. Okay? So, but let's look at it, the meaning of it for our benefit. Ta etaha, that means these. Devata. Srishtaha, created. Asmin, in this. Mahati, great. Arnave, sea. Sea means ocean. Over here, sea. Prapatan, they fell. Tam means him. Ashnaya, to hunger. Pipasabhyam, to thirst. Anav varjat, subjected. Ta means they, enam to him. Abruvan, said. Ayatanam, an abode. Na means for us. Prajanihi, find out. Yasmin, wherein. Pratishtita, being established. Annam, food. Adam, may eat. Iti means that. So these devatas, the divinities, and we learned about the devatas in the previous section, how those devatas were created. So these devatas, so created, fell headlong into the great restless sea. So sea means it's like a ocean of change, ocean of finitude. Because these devatas came over here into this creation. Then he subjected them. He means the God, the creator, subjected them to hunger and thirst. They said to him, find out for us an abode wherein we may be established. So that means they are looking for their place. Where should we reside? These Devatas. And may eat food. Eat food means we want to experience. You have created us. You have sent us into this sansara. We want to experience. How do we experience? This is their asking their creator. So far in the last section, we saw that Rishi was explaining to his disciples how Ishwara, meaning the supreme working through by the total vasanas. First, he created a total gross form and he called it Virat, which grew with all the external centers of perceptions, activities, and even internal functionings. We saw all along the description, it was very clearly evident that sequence in which all this happened, I mentioned to you, that's how a fetus develops in the womb also. So extremely poetic. Looks like poetry is a very characteristic quality of the head and the heart of these rishis. All our scriptures are in poetry. Even the science of medicine was written in poetry. Very few places we see the prose, mostly it's poetry. So in this poetic exuberance, this Rishi is explaining in this section the various cosmic powers that go into the constitution of a human person. Various deities, Agni, Vayu, Aditya, Chandra, Mrityu, Apa, those are all deities. So they have been experienced, described previously, because they are presiding over the various localized functions of life in a human body. So that's why the rishis called this a temple. All these deities reside here. Generally, the term devta, when we translate this into English, people say God. But we got to look at this deva word is used here, meaning something which has the capacity to illumine. That is a devta. So God created the devatas. Okay. So in the sense organs, to illumine the world of sense objects is meant here by the word devata. So all these devatas, they are functioning through our sense organs. You can even call it as impulses in the sense organs. To see, to hear, to smell, to touch, to taste, to speak, even to die, or to reproduce. All these faculties were thrown into the world of polarity, constituted of the sense objects, such as forms, sounds, tastes, touches, etc. Not only were they thrown into this world of polarity and constant change, because when he used the word arnav, sea, the ocean keeps on changing. It's not static. It's quite dynamic, and we all know that. They were also shot with the pains of hunger and thirst. And naturally, all organs felt a thirst and hunger that was irresistible, insufferable. They wanted to enjoy and fulfill themselves. So there are two impulses. That's why they approached the Creator and they demanded separate heavens actually. They said, we may eat food and enjoy. So the power of vision demanded not an ear or a tongue, but its specific instrument, the eyes, so that it can function and enjoy. So functioning also and the enjoyment also. We all know that eyes look at various forms and colors. Through that, they satisfy its hunger and thirst. The same way, all of them demanded separate conducive fields so that they may eke out their satisfaction through enjoyment of their respective objects. So these devtas. Then what did God do? Next verse. Tabhyagam anyatata abruvanna venah ayam alam iti. Tabhya ashwan ayanatta abruvanna vena ayam alam iti. Tabhya. For them. That means for the gods, for the devtas. Gam. Gam is a cow, a body of a cow. Anyat was brought. Ta means they. Abruvan said, no, not. Where indeed, no, for us. I am this, alam is sufficient. Iti, that. Second line, tabhya, to them, ashwam, horse. Anyat was brought. Ta means they, Brahman said. Na means not, where indeed. Na means for us. I am this, alam is sufficient. Iti, that. He brought the form of a cow for them. And again, he means God, the creator. The creator who created these devatas. He brought the form of a cow for them. They said, indeed, this is not sufficient for us. He brought a horse to them. They said, this is not sufficient for us. It's like a child is crying for something, and you give something to the child and says, no, I don't want it. Then you give something else. I don't want that either. Keeps on crying. So when the deity is created by the Lord, demanded individually accommodation so that they may satisfy their hunger and thirst. So he is talking about cow and a horse, but actually from this example, we can understand that many different types of forms he created for them. But they did not get satisfied. So form of a cow, the instrument is not sufficiently elaborate. They rejected by saying, this is not sufficient for us. We cannot satisfy our hunger and thirst. So then a little more vibrant form, the form of a horse, more powerful than a domesticated cow. But the deities rejected that also. This is not sufficient for us. The lower realms are not platforms for our higher desires to be fully satisfied. The sense objects cannot give the texture of happiness to animal as they can give it to a human being. In eating and sleeping, sheltering and clothing, breeding and ruling, an animal can only instinctively repeat the process. That's why we say that animals, they live by the instinct. But human beings alone can add to these a certain amount of aesthetic values and eke out of them a joy more subtle than the mere sensuous satisfaction. So the sense faculties defined here as residing devatas refused to be satisfied completely with the lower forms of creation. And they are demanding better and fuller satisfaction. It is very well known to us, we have experienced it. We are in a human form. How our devatas get satisfied? Because these are the higher level of instruments. So, but from here we should just understand that he is quoting two examples, cow and horse. He is just hinting at the entire process, like other animals too. But these devatas, they just wanted higher than that. And that's why the next mantra, Tabhya Purusham Ayanatata Abruvan Sukritam Vat iti Purushaha Vav Sukritam Ta Abravit Yatha Yatnam Pravishat iti. Tabhya, to them, to these devatas. Purusham, a person. Anyat, brought. Ta means they. Abruvan, said. Sukritam, well done. What means indeed? Iti means that. Purushaha, a person. Bhav, alone. Sukritam, masterpiece. Ta means to them, abravit, he said, yatha yatnam, in the respective abode. Pravishat, enter. Iti means that. So when he brought the form of a human being to them, they cried, oh, well done, indeed. Man alone is the masterpiece, verily. Man is a thing well done. So man means a human being, a human body. He said to them, enter into your respective abode. So all those devatas, he told them, because lastly the Lord, the Creator, he brought the most perfect physical form of a human. Because this form of human accommodates, apart from the sense organs, the faculties for entertaining highly sensitive and poetic emotions also. Extremely powerful capacity to discriminate in human being. We don't live just by instinct. We have a higher level of intellect. So the sense organs in human being working under the intellect with its overhanging emotions can milk out the maximum joy through the sense organs. We can not only read the scriptures or recite the poetry, but we can enjoy the deep meaning of it. We not only look at an art piece, could be painting, but we can imagine also what that artist was thinking while painting. what he or she is trying to express through that painting. All that is in human beings already. So when a person and his pet could be a dog, they go to visit a special place, both are seeing the same object. But how they react to what they see is entirely different. So the sense organs can experience a million times more subtle joys through the equipment of human body. So that's why these devtas, they were fully satisfied. They said, Sukritam, Sukritam. So they almost cried out, appreciating their satisfaction in a human body. So when the Lord, the Creator, found the sense faculty so fully satisfied with the equipment of human body, he said to them, you can all enter this form and pitching your respective quarters, enjoy your respective fields. And that's what he's saying in the next verse, verse number 4. Agni vak bhutva mukam pravishat. Vayu prana bhutva nasike pravishat. Aditya chakshu bhutva akshini pravishat. Disha shrotram bhutva karnau pravishan. औषधि वनस्पत्या लोमानि भूत्वा त्वचं प्राविशत् चंद्रमा मना भूत्वा हृदयं प्राविशत् मृत्यु अपाना भूत्वा नाभिम प्राविशत् आपः रेता भूत्वा शिश्नं प्राविशन. We are familiar with all these words from the first section. Agni, fire. Vak, speech. Bhutva, having turned. Mukham, from mouth. Pravishat, entered. Vayu, air. Pranaha, the prana. Bhutva, having become. Nasike, from nostrils. Pravishat, entered. Aditya, sun. Chakshu, power of vision. Bhutva, having become. Akshini, from eyes. Pravishat, entered. Disha, quarters. Shrotram, hearing. And I told you last time, this quarters really means space. Okay. Bhutva, having been. Karnau, ears. Pravishat, entered. Aushadhi, herbs. Vanaspatya, trees. Lomani, hair. Bhutva, having become. Tvacham, skin. Pravishan, entered. Chandramaha, moon. Manaha, mind. Bhutva, having become. Hridayam, heart. Pravishan, entered. Mrityu, death. Apana, out breath. Bhutva, having become. Nabhim, navel. Pravishat, entered. Apaha, waters. Retaha, seed. Bhutva, having become. Shishnam, generative organ. Pravishan, entered. Then fire, having turned into speech, entered the mouth. Air, having become prana, entered the nostrils. The sun, having become the sight, entered the eyes. The quarters, having become the hearing, entered the ears. The deities of the herbs and the trees, having become hair, entered the skin. The moon, having become the mind, entered the heart. And this heart is a philosophical heart, remember that. The god of death, having become the out breath, entered the navel. The god of waters, having become the seed, entered the generative organs. So we were told in the previous verses that how the Creator raised the cosmic person. And when we were discussing the concept of the cosmic person, it was told to us that it is the totality of the gross forms conceived together as one structure. Remember the Virata Roop, the Vishwa Roop, totality. Hunger and thirst are sensation felt by an individual. They can be satisfied only by the consumption of something other than the sufferer himself. In other words, nobody can satisfy his hunger by eating himself. You have to eat something other than us. The moment the sense organs felt an appetite and hunger, that very moment, the very desire to enjoy something other than themselves disintegrated the Virat concept. So we have here the demand of the Devatas to the creators. And the separate forms in the pluralistic world becomes justified. And as soon as they found a fit abode for themselves, they all entered into their respective orbits. And this is the detail given in this verse number 4. They said, this is perfect for us. We are going to enter there. So this is the same sequence of creation which was explained earlier. We have the description of how from the sense organs, the devatas or the elemental forces emerged out. Here we have the same story repeated for the purpose of emphasis and right craving to enjoy and hope that they can have an enjoyment through the sense objects, identified themselves. So it's like in a reverse order. If you go back to the verse in the previous section, this is a reverse order now. So with the sense equipment in the individual macrocosmic forms. So the main idea of the Rishi is to hammer this idea into the student's brain that individual is nothing other than the cosmic. So this microcosm is nothing but the macrocosm. It's almost like a huge piece of gold. If a tiny part is removed, that particle removed from the main piece must have the same qualities as of gold. So the same way the Virat form, so that macrocosm and the microcosm, the same qualities. So out of the cosmic person, cosmic man, the individuals were created as separate entities. And the great rishis of the Upanishad, with the unsaid suggestion of his explanation, indicates the fundamental idea here. Totality of the universe, Virat, is intrinsically represented in the individual. An individual in himself can exhibit the strength, insight, and the power of entire cosmic form. This is what he's trying to tell us. Contemplate on this. Think deeply on it. You will see that the meaning comes out so clearly. Let's look at one more verse. Verse number 5. Tam अश्नायः पिपासे अभृताम् आवाभ्याम अभिप्रजानेः इति ते अब्रवीत एतासु एव देवतासु अभिजामिवाम एतासु भावन्यो करोमि इति तस्मात् यस्मै कस्यै च देवताय हवि गृह्यते भगिन्यो एव अस्याम अश्नाया पिपासे भवतः. Tam means to him ashnaya, hunger, pipase, and thirst. Abrutam said, Avabhyam, for both of us, abhi prajanehi, find out. That means to find out the abode. Iti means that. Te means to them, abravit said, etasu ev, among those, devatasu, gods, ab jami, vam, assign you both. Etasu, among those, bhavinyo, share, kromi, do, iti, that. Tasmat, therefore, yasye, kasye, whichever. Cha means also devataya, for the gods, havi. Havi means oblations. Grihate, partake. Bhaginyo, shares. Ev, indeed. Asyam, in it. Again, ashnaya, hunger, pipase, thirst. Bhavataha, be. Hunger and thirst said to him, for both of us, also find out an abode. He told them, I assign to both of you a place along with these gods and make you both share with them. Therefore, to whatever devatas oblation is made, hunger and thirst also become partakers of it. So the various faculties and activities entered the physical form at the command of the Creator. And hunger and thirst, not knowing where to go, they remained in confusion. And that's why they are inquiring the Creator. So this Rishi of the Upanishad, he's saying, they said, where shall we go? Give us also some abode. The Creator found that all centers of activity have been occupied. So instead of creating some special center in the body for the satisfaction of the hunger and thirst, he said, may you enjoy all the centers. So that any satisfaction received through any of the sense organs would be your satisfaction. So none of the faculties in a person would ever struggle to express or to develop itself unless it is goaded to do so by some dynamic impulse from within. And this impulse is provided by the hunger and thirst. So this hunger is not, sometimes you think hunger is only in the stomach. Hunger is in all the senses. Eyes want to see beautiful things. Hand wants to touch. Ears, they want to hear something sweet and melodious. That is a hunger for those devatas. If there were no hunger and thirst for my eyes to see good things, for my ears to hear good music, my tongue to taste good things, they would be sitting like a stone or like a tree in some corner, striving to do nothing. This hunger. Whenever any of the sense organs feel the passing flash of happiness, at the acquisition of any object for which they have been hungering and thirsting. So that's what this Rishi is saying, hunger and thirst. To that extent, they share the satisfaction with the sense organs. Okay? So this is the end of this part. So next week we'll start with the next part. How it's further explaining this creation to us. Let's stop it here today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much.